This week, Southern California Congressman Mike Levin making another visit to the southern border. He wanted to see if President Biden's newest executive action on immigration was having any effect. Remember, back in June, the president essentially banned migrants who cross our southern border unlawfully from receiving asylum. Democratic Congressman Mike Levin joins us now live from Washington. Congressman, good to see you. So what did you see?
Well, Alex, I wanted to go back at the 3-month mark, and it really was astonishing to see the difference from back in May when I originally visited that very same site in Jacumba in East County, San Diego. Back then, there were hundreds of migrants that were coming across the border. It was clear that our Border Patrol were really being spread way too thin. And what that meant is that they weren't able to focus on their core responsibilities to go after drug traffickers, human traffickers, and potential terrorists. And what we've seen in the months since, I went back at the 1-month mark, and I saw significant progress and about a 20% reduction in apprehensions. But really, in the last couple months, things have gotten much better. 48% reduction across the southern border since the beginning of the executive action, and 54% specifically in East County, San Diego, where I visited. And whereas before there were hundreds of migrants that were coming across, now at this particular visit on Monday, I saw 0 during my visit. It's a testament, I think, to the men and women of the Border Patrol who are doing their jobs very well, and also significant cooperation with the Mexican government that has set up 7 soft-sided facilities on their side of the border. So look, things are certainly still not perfect. We have lots of work to do. I'd like to do it in a bipartisan way. I really think it is a matter of national security, and I wish people would stop playing politics with it and figure out where we can find common ground and get something done.
Of course, critics would say that President Biden played politics with this. They say, if this is so great, why'd he wait 3+ years into his presidency to do it? Why didn't he do that executive action on day 1 of his presidency, and we wouldn't have seen all those people at the border? Do you think that he waited too long?
Well, I think what happened is, there was a long process over many months where we tried in good faith to negotiate across the aisle, and Senator Lankford, who's a very conservative senator from Oklahoma, he was leading the Senate effort along with Chris Murphy and Kirsten Sinema, and they came to what was a pretty good bipartisan agreement. And unfortunately, that agreement was then killed by Donald Trump and ultimately did not come to pass. But I am encouraged that Kamala Harris has said she would support such an effort. I think we need a border security bill in line with comprehensive immigration reform, and I'm committed to that. I know so many of my colleagues are committed to that, and I actually have had very good conversations across the aisle. I do think, though, Alex, we're in silly season right now with 48 days to go before the election. Very tough to envision anything happening before the election, but we can't give up. It's just too important, and if you look at the results over the past couple months, what we've seen is no street releases of any migrants in our part of Southern California, in San Diego County, Orange County. We've also seen a significant uptick in the amount of fentanyl and methamphetamine and cocaine that have been seized by our Border Patrol agents, including recently 20 pounds of fentanyl that was seized in the San Clemente checkpoint in my district. So we do see a lot of progress. It is very encouraging, but of course we still have a lot more work to do. There's also a new government in Mexico, and the efforts on the Mexican side have to, they have to last past the end of the year as well, and we're going to advocate for that, of course.
But real quickly, to answer the question I just said, do you wish that some of these actions were taken sooner?
Of course, absolutely. I think hindsight's always 20/20, Alex, and in particular, I was among those who was sounding the alarm with the lifting of Title 42. That we needed to be prepared, that CBP and others needed to be prepared for whatever may come. And I certainly think in hindsight, things could have been done differently. But I will give the administration a lot of credit. Along with myself, many of my colleagues, we advocated for these changes to the asylum process, and we've seen now the success, the effectiveness of those changes.
And you spoke out about Title 42. You also spoke out about Joe Biden needing to potentially move on. And now we see Kamala Harris, and we see a different race for you. It'll be interesting to see, as you're in one of the closest congressional races in the country. Congressman Mike Levin, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate you sharing your views.
Thanks, Alex. Always good to be with you.